Hello and welcome to Talk Wargaming. We're here for another unboxing review, and this time we're looking at Drop Zone Commander. Now, it's the first time that I've personally looked at any kind of 50mm game, so this is kind of all brand new for me. I'm not really familiar with the scale. Mine's usually like 28mm, so let's see what we think of this box. So on the front here we have some very fantastic looking artwork, which kind of sums up what the game is about. You've got the air forces fighting over the cityscape, whilst you've got kind of ground forces fighting in the streets there as well. So this is a two-player star set, as I mentioned. Let's just flip it over to see what we get in terms of contents. Quite a lot, as it seems. We've got all these kind of card buildings. We've got the forces, of course, which we get in this box. We've got counters, dice, a little tape measure as well, which is always which is something I've not actually seen in one of these starter kits before, so that's always a good thing. And obviously the rule book, and there's some pictures of what it looks like, miniatures that look like assembled. So we've got a UMC Stars Force, which contains 3 Condor medium dropships, 3 Sabre main battle tanks, 3 Rapier AA tanks, 2 Bear APCs, and a bonus spare as well, and 30 Colonial Legionnaires. We also get a Scourge starter force as well, so that's 3 Marauder medium dropships, 3 times Hunter main grav tanks, 3 Reaper AA grav tanks, and 2 Invader APCs with a bonus spare, and 30 Scourge warriors. So let's open this box up and have a look at the content. And we've got masses of bubble wrap, so let's just take that out from one side. So here we have the sprues. I think that's the UCM forces. So we've got 3 sprues of what looks to be identical on each one, and also these kind of bases as well, which I assume for the foot soldiers. So I'll just pop that to one side. So, and I think this is the acrylic flying base for the flyers, of course, just standard see-through plastic. Put that to one side, and finally we have, for the sprues at least, the Scourge. So yes, three sets there, and I believe that you can probably also use some of the bases from the other set as well. So they're all identical, I believe. Yeah, all 3 the same. What else have we got in here? Some more bubble wrap. Let's just chuck that away. We have the rule book. Now I've already had a flick through this, and just to kind of get an idea as to what's in the content. So you've got all that kind of standard basic rules that you'd expect at the front here. What's also interesting, you get kind of a in-focus look at each of the kind of the factions in the game. So you've got the UCM here, so you've got the background and all the technology that they use. You've got the actual rules listings for the units, and you've also got kind of example armies that you can see there. And also, what's nice is you get all these kind of different camo schemes, like paint schemes that you could use for your UCM. So as well as the standard green there, you've got all these different interesting colours, and that's the same for all of them. So you've got the Scourge there, and what have we got here? PHR? Yeah, so lots of kind of in-depth detailing going into the armies, and everything's in here that you need. So you can start playing the game straight out of the box with this rulebook. Here we have the markers in the game, so we've got some of the little objective tiles and also some blast markers as well, so you can kind of work out the areas. That's just on a cardboard sheet that you can just push out and use. We have this kind of, looks like some sort of like an advertisement to see what else is available from Hawk Wargames for the Drop Zone Commander. We have some battle mats as well, which are great because you can actually just get started playing, actually double-sided posters as well, so that's pretty good. Just fold out card, and we have another one of those as well. I think there might be different designs on those as well. We have the instructions for assembling miniatures, and it looks from this that the parts are actually numbered, which makes everything much easier when you come to assemble things. And a quick start reference sheet, including a scenario on the back, so you can kind of get started playing the game very quickly. You've just got all these little notes and things you can refer to as you're playing. We also have some fast play sheets for both the UCM and the Scourge as well. This gives you kind of some of the base stats that you'll need just so you don't have to keep flicking through the rulebook every time you want to play, and also the stat lines for the relevant units there. Before I get onto the scenery, we have this little tape measure that I mentioned earlier, which is a nice addition. I mean, most people probably do already have tape measures at home, but it's always good to have just an extra one that you've got in the box, and it's just a kind of a standard, quite like a tailor's tape measure, quite thin and flimsy. But it always comes on a keychain as well, so you can take it wherever you want for those spontaneous wargaming moments. We also get 10 black dice. Always good to have dice, and I'm not sure what these are, but I'm sure they'll become apparent soon. And we have some cardboard scenery as well, so we've got all different shapes and sizes. These just fold flat and you can just, there we go, for example. I've actually got one that I've made earlier. Here it is. Quite very easy to assemble. I mean, you just need a little bit of tape on the inside there on the tabs just to hold this upright properly, but it looks good, it does its job. Probably not as good as the resin scenery or anything else that's available, but if you want to get playing the game straight away and kind of involve terrain there as well, these are excellent. And you get quite a few of these of different varying shapes and sizes. We've got kind of more of a skyscraper build there and just a few more kind of smaller residential type buildings there as well. So that goes for the contents of the box. Let's actually zoom in a bit more and have a close look at the sprues. So I've zoomed in a bit so we can get a better look at the detailings, and this is the UCM sprue. This contains all the parts that you need to make the miniatures in the for the UCM forces in the 2-player star set. You just get multiple sprues to make up the numbers. Now, first of all, on here we have 2 squads of Colonial Legionnaires. Each squad consists of 5 men, 4 of which are armed with rifles and 1 with an anti-tank. We also get the Bear APC, which is here, and we've got the base panel and the rear door and the tracks here. And this is kind of synonymous with the rest of the vehicles on this. It's all the parts are all kind of very easy to put together. Few parts. However, there's also a lot of detailing. I mean, it's quite apparent on here. You've got all the vents, and you've got kind of the I think there's a light in the front as well there. Even these small 50mm miniatures are nicely detailed. What is nice about the Condor, which is the dropship, is actually if you look in the front there, you're probably just about to see it, there's actually a little pilot in there. So when you've painted this and you actually put the clear canopy on there, you can you still see the pilot. So yeah, very nicely detailed sprue, excellent looking miniatures. I've actually got one of the Condors assembled over here, so we can get just an idea as to what these look like when they're pieced together. So this is the Condor, and you also get to place these on the bottom. Now these are used to actually carry the miniatures that I've seen on the sprue. You can either have 2 or 3 on these different slots about. Very easy to put together. They are hard plastic, so you can use plastic glue. The mould lines are very easy to remove, so there's not even many to worry about. So excellent kind of quality of the sculpt there. I think you get 3 of these all together. And there you can see the pilot on the front there. So let's move on to the next sprue. Here we have the sprue for the Scourge, and as with the UCM sprue, this contains all of the parts that you need to make all the miniatures. You just get several versions of these. We've got the infantry at the bottom. I think there's 2 5-man squads there as well, and we've got some of the ships on there as well. Similarly to the UCM stuff, it's very nicely detailed. What I really like about this kind of Scourge ships is they're very organic in their look, however they are still kind of mechanical. In here we get, let me just remind myself of the names, I'm not too familiar. We've got a Marauder, which I've actually got one assembled so we can see. And we also have the Invader, which is this here, and this is kind of, I think, is similar to the Bear APC that we saw for the UCM. And we also have the Reaper and the Hunters, which are the main tanks for the Scourge. So I've actually got one assembled here. It is one of the Marauder ships, and very kind of nice detailings on the side. As I mentioned, it's almost like a rib cage there. So they are mechanical, but they look very organic and very alien. If I compare it to the dropship for the UCM, kind of in terms of size, this is bigger, but this is kind of much more compact, and I think you can slot some of the tanks into these little shelves here as you can with these, and just slot them into the sides there. So yes, very nice miniatures overall. Very easy to put together, as with the UCM stuff. Mould lines were very easy to remove. The plastic's quite soft. It's still quite strong, but in terms of scraping it off with a hobby knife, it was quite easy to do so. So that was the 2-player star set for Drop Zone Commander. Let's zoom out and kind of summarise the unboxing. So that was my unboxing of the Drop Zone Commander 2-player star set. As I said earlier, it's my first kind of entry into 15mm wargaming. I'm very impressed with the miniatures actually. Even though they have been reduced in size, the detailing really hasn't been scrimped on. It's still very nicely detailed, and I think I quite like the aesthetics of the 2 forces as well. The UCM are undoubtedly human and kind of very kind of identifiable from kind of a lot of science fiction, such as like the Colonial Marines from the Alien series. The Scourge, however, are undoubtedly alien. They really like their design. They're very kind of the flowing kind of lines make it look like the ships have almost been grown rather than built. So excellent kind of detailing there. This kit's fantastic as well for the kind of content you get in there. Not only do you just get, as with some starter kits, you just get the miniatures and maybe a rule book. This gives you pretty much everything that you need to get playing. You get the battle mats, you get the some scenery to use, you get all the miniatures, which are actually big enough for 2 small skirmish forces as well. You get the tokens, you even get that tape measure and the dice as well, so it's a fantastic amount. From flicking through the rules, they seem to be very nicely kind of laid out, and all those extra sections at the back as well, which kind of just give you an idea as to what you need to do when you're painting them, are also fantastic as well. So if you're thinking about actually getting into Drop Zone Commander or something, if you're a fan of 50mm wargaming, if that's something a bit different, then I would probably very much recommend this. I will be doing some more videos related to Drop Zone Commander in the future, maybe some tutorials, painting tutorials, and maybe some looking at some of the other factions that are also available. So if you did enjoy the video, be sure to subscribe and to be kept up to date with any Drop Zone Commander content we do in the future. Also leave some comments in the comments section, surprisingly, if you did enjoy the video or what else you would like to see from this range. Be sure to check us out at talkwargaming.com for more content related to Drop Zone Commander and other war games, such as tutorials and editorials. And yeah, thanks for watching and goodbye.